So, when we last left off, people got skinned. 3 Turkish men, who may be the same dude, all got skinned in a hotel room. You guys have been entrusted to find the Sedevkar Simulacrum and the scrolls that will explain to you the ritual that will destroy them. What you gonna do now?
Well, apparently Agnes has a list.
I have a 5-page list of to-do things.
If I continue to...
They're small pages. The first thing I would like to suggest doing is that we found that body with the note saying the skinless one will not be denied. We should probably try to figure out what the skinless one is.
So how are you going to do that?
Well, like all great Cthulhu characters, to the library! Where we shall learn how to pronounce library.
It's bibliothèque, pleb.
I'm not in Paris yet.
Did you succeed?
No. I got 77.
I got 73. I failed miserably.
I got lost in the shoulder section.
You can't find any reference so far to the skinless one.
16, success.
What's your skill?
52.
Okay.
In a corner of the library, in a dusty old corner of the occult, you find a reference to a book that talks about old cults, specifically of Eastern Europe. Unfortunately, the skinless one is more of a footnote near the back index.
Okay.
And you get no info out of it.
Oh, would I be able to use a cult to figure out more about it?
You said the book was about European cults?
Eastern European.
Okay. Well, it's not useless. We know the skinless one is associated with Eastern European cults.
I've listened to a lot of the same ramblings in my days. A lot of them shared a box with me. Whole nights.
Well, there's the Von Doom family in Latveria. They might know a thing or two about them.
They'll make full check.
I'm going to head to the police station.
Yep.
And ask around for previous cases of things like skinning.
Okay.
Or people being flayed.
The,
Either here or elsewhere. Or old newspapers to look up, like, articles about skinning deaths.
it will be some kind of speech check to get info from the police, and it'll be a library use to find out what skittles.
Okay. I'm going to go with good old-fashioned persuade. Try to talk up some duty desk sergeant to ask him if he can do, just a small favor and let me take a look at some of the old cases. They're not active anymore. It's a matter of public... Actually, I'm going to say fast talk. It's a matter of public record. You can't deny me access to those reports. Yep.
Okay. Files are in the back. Just don't open the ones that say secret.
I don't succeed on my fast talk roll. Sadness.
Whoa, sorry. Your boss got mad at me last time. I let you in here. You know what? He's still here in the office. You know what? I'm sorry.
Come on, dear. Can't you do me a favor just this once? Your boss is only going to get mad if he finds out. And he'd only find out if I knocked something over. We were stupid enough to tell him. And I know I'm not that dumb. And I think you're not that dumb. You strike me as a smart young man.
Roll again.
I'm rolling persuade. Is this persuade or fast talk?
I'm going to say persuade.
Okay. Nope, 72. He knows he is that dumb.
Don't worry, I got this.
Butter me up.
I got this. $50.
You're gonna bribe the cop.
Yes, I am. It's the 1920s.
I'm not affiliated with this man.
Hey, boss.
I'm gonna be arrested, aren't I?
You can either run now or deal with the consequences.
Yeah, this is Britain, not Chicago.
Okay, I'm gonna run.
London wasn't much better, but yeah, it just didn't have prohibition to exploit.
You don't get pursued. Guess they just thought you were crazy. Because you do still look like a bum.
I'm gonna try newspaper archives, old records, see if I can find reports of people being skinned.
Okay.
Lurid news tales, the Tanty Bugle, specializing in horrible murders. Success, 47 out of 52.
Okay. You find a review for a series of horrific tales from the Middle East about a cult of people that would skin tourists. It seemed to have been just a work of fiction, but it got rave reviews. The author never wrote another book.
What skill would be associated with bribing people?
Could be credit rating.
It would be either credit rating or persuade.
The skill nobody put points in.
That's because I don't know what that skill does. It's very vague.
Yeah, I'll admit it's kind of
Like
vague.
it says you have a skill of credit rating. You also have an income listed,
I know it's.
which aren't related, apparently.
Although it's funny how often Cthulhu
I guess
campaigns
it's how easy
will
to get a
have
car
rules
or
for
credit
ratings.
cards.
Really? Buy a lot of stuff? Put on layaway?
So, are you done?
Yes.
At the
I
police
didn't
station,
print them out a
I've
whole lot.
apparently
I
done.
kind of figured.
Is there any equipment you wanted to quickly purchase?
I put everything in hand to hand, like just fist. So I'd be probably not using weapons. Unless it's an unarmed weapon. Like that.
Maybe knuckle dusters or something.
If there's knuckles or something like that.
Other things I would like to look up, those 2 hermetic orders that Randolph Alexis was involved in.
Okay.
Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and the Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight.
Okay.
I'd like to find out if I can learn anything about those.
I'm going to say make an occult or library use roll. Sure, okay.
Other people, I'm assuming, can roll too.
I'll roll a cult.
I fail.
If I match it, do I succeed?
Yes.
Okay. So I succeed in the occult.
Barely.
Yeah, just barely.
You find out that the Hermetic Order of the Sun was actually at war with the Hermetic Order of the Moon for a while. And you find out that the Hermetic Order of the Moon was at war with the Hermetic Order of the Sun. You also find records that seem to suggest that at one point they stopped warring with each other. You're not sure why. But this corresponds with the time when Alexis lived. No, not Alexis. Whoever the father was.
Randolph Alexis.
Yeah.
Is that when the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was formed? Or are these different orders?
These are actually 2 different orders. Roll a d10. 300,000.
Wait, sorry, 300,000?
Yeah. That's your collected assets in total.
Personal property.
You're spoiled brat.
I am a particularly successful
So
street
you're
thug.
some sort of urchin king.
Is that income or personal property?
You successfully robbed a bank and no one believes you did
I'm
it.
not entirely sure what you mean.
He's like a
All of your
crazy,
wealth
stabby
ever, no matter
street
what.
thug.
So yeah, personal
From
property.
weapons stuff here.
Oh, excellent. Perfect.
But
Thank you.
income's different.
It's confusing. Don't worry.
Well, since somebody blew our chance at the police station, I'm not going to be able to look into the deaths of Randolph Alexis or his son. Just cross that page up. I would like to take a look now at the London Train Spotters Association.
Okay.
And specifically if I can find Arthur Butters, the guy who's supposed to have taken possession of Ye Old Haunted Train.
I try to look around the street for something, maybe like a street urchin I can bribe. Maybe ask
You
about.
actually succeed at. You succeed at both things because the headquarters of the Association of Train Spotters is at Arthur Butter's house. Cool. There's only about 8 of them. He lives in a spot of town called Camberwell, and you are free to contact him or meet him if you want and ask about the train set.
I'd totally like to do that.
This would be about a good time.
I'll pickpocket somebody when I'm ready.
You're robbing Arthur Butters' house, obviously. You break in his window.
I can't focus on this and also try and figure this out at the same time. I'm sorry, I'm just not ready to come in yet. I'm sorry.
I'm not ready yet. I need 5 more minutes backstage.
Okay, here's what you do. You are pretending to be a member of the Train Spotters Association to Case's house. So you
Doing a
happen to
really
be-
bad job at the,
You're
okay.
pretending to care about trains.
Yes. So you happen to be there when these clowns show up.
Okay.
I was actually going to call first, mention that I'm going to be showing up, but
Okay. Well, this one's been
rather
there all
than
day.
just show up at his house unannounced. Oi,
The D&D way.
train boy.
But yeah, you can go up.
Hi there, Agnes Gertrude Mallory,
Oh,
Boston Globe. Is this Arthur Butters?
yes. Why is it Globe? Hey, is it about the association?
In a way, we understand you recently took possession of a model train set formerly belonging to one Henry Stanton.
Oh, that thing. Well, it's a nice set. I mean, it's not the best out there. I mean, the train could have been done a bit well, and The circuitry is it's kind of old, a little rusted at points. Personally, I would spend a few hours refurbishing it, maybe switching off the wheels on the little trains themselves, and adding some foliage on that terrain. It is barren. Like, it's a nice train itself, but the set it's on, I could do a much better job.
Could you give me any kind of idea of how old it might be? What kind of train is it modeling exactly?
It specifically models the 1897 Liverpool run. It's actually kind of in poor taste because this train actually got into a wreck during that year. I mean, I don't know why somebody would commission this, and I don't know why the poor guy actually decided to buy this set. But I guess if you're a collector, you might want it, but you'd probably haggle. Personally, I'd haggle because it's not mint.
Sorry, did you have any idea how old the model itself was?
Nah, no more than 5 years.
You said there was the original train, the 1897 Liverpool run, was in some sort of wreck?
Yeah, it went off the tracks, and the engine and the first car behind it and the second car behind that all submerged into the bottom of the lake, sunk deep into the mud. They couldn't even dredge it out. Sadly, I believe there was a new member of the association. Alexis?
An Amber Rose's character's name?
No. No, actually somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, the dude who went missing.
Oh, the guy who's estate sale?
But, I think that's actually how his dad... I think his dad was on that train when it crashed. It might be why he owned the set. I'm not sure if he commissioned it, though. He never really told me the details. It's a ghastly set.
Sorry, you said... so Randolph Alexis died in that train wreck?
Yes.
Okay.
Piece of paper in the middle of this thing.
And Albert Alexis was a member of this association?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was just as big in trains as I was. I think it might have been his father's death that motivated him to get so into it.
Do you have any idea what happened to him? I heard he just disappeared.
I don't know. Some people say he ran away.
Well, I understand there was blood found at the scene of his house, so someone tried to set
I
his
just heard
house
stuff
on
about
fire.
smoke. I mean,
I heard about smoke damage, but
the
was
police
there
told me
actually
to check
a
out the
fire?
set. I turned it on and it went around a loop. No sparks or anything, so I turned it off and it seemed fine to me. It's actually in my cellar right now. You're free to come over and check it if you want.
Sure, I don't know any better.
In fact, I actually have a new member of the Train Spotters Association here too, who's also checking it out.
Juniper Jackhammer Bigglesworth? Really? No.
Yeah.
We need fake name.
Mr. Woodhouse, Tom Woodhouse. Yeah, that's your name, right?
It's not Percy Gordon Woodhouse. PG Woodhouse.
I don't get the reference. I just used that name because I was reading Emma earlier.
My currently prevailing theory here is that, like, the opening narration we had with Dr. Smith was talking about hauntings, and that someone or something has to have mysteriously disappeared, then started reappearing, and I think, the ghost train is that train.
What are your thoughts?
The train was bought for $1.
In that day and age, for an electric train set, that's actually kind of the normal price.
There is a secret cult on the Orient Express, and everyone on board is responsible for the murder. Wait, where's your evidence of that? How does that apply to the
Evidence?
investigation?
I'm a Call of Cthulhu investigator. I don't need evidence. I just demand things.
Trust me, if there's a murder, it's your guys' fault.
There's really no reason for him to still be a thug. He's just like too stupid to know what to do with all his money.
Well, maybe it's all that their parents did. You have none of it. You got kicked out.
I feel like he's got like a hoard somewhere. All the stuff he stole was actually worth that much. He just doesn't know it.
All right, sure. I'd love to come over and take a look at the train and see how it works and all that, and maybe talk to you a bit more and talk to some other people at your lovely association. Is there a good time for you?
Anytime today works for me.
All right, I'll be over shortly.
All right.
I'll bring some friends with me. They're an eclectic bunch.
Wonderful. Anything to spread the love of trains.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, trains.
Does this require a fast talk roll?
No.
Okay. It's just garden variety lies. He wants to believe you. Succeed automatically.
He is the 1920 equivalent of a fanboy.
Oh yeah, they existed. The first ones were called Sherlockians.
Yep.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, there was actually like a full-on like cult of Sherlock Holmes going on.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So shall we head over to the Train Spotters Association?
Yeah, sure.
So, Tom, who's always been there, he's pretty much just there pretending to be trains because a lot of, I assume, people who can afford to keep up a...
You see a lot of model trains, shelves. He showed you a bunch of cases in the attic of lesser train models that he doesn't take out of the boxes.
Are there there's other people there as well, yeah?
One or two people showed up.
Big
Talk
photographs
shop.
of trains on the wall.
But aside from that, he's been alone all day. Aside from that weird phone call and people he's expecting.
I'll say
Magazine
he
full of
showed up
pictures of
kind
trains
with the
under his
plan
mattress, disturbingly well leafed through.
Wait a second. A young British kid by the name of Tom. Are you gonna start calling people me lord?
But yeah, because basically he showed up thinking there's be a bunch of like rich old guys who like to play with trains, and he'd have lots of opportunity to pickpocket. And he got there, realized there was almost nobody there. He just hasn't been able to leave because the guy keeps talking about trains.
Have you ever been on the Orient Express? Oh man, it is the most amazing thing.
If it helps to think of Train Spotters, they were basically the original nerds, absurdly obsessed with one thing.
Tom's really starting to regret his life choices. Regretting coming to this place.
Okay. Well, there's a knock at the door, and these clowns are here. You see a kind of short, pudgy guy who introduces himself at the door. Hello.
Does he have Coke bottle glasses? Please say he has Coke
Yes.
bottle glasses. Yes.
I'm Mr. Butters.
Hi there, dear. Agnes Gertrude
Oh,
Mallory.
and this
We
is
spoke
Tom,
on
our
the
newest
phone.
member.
Hello there, Tom.
You see a short kid who looks like a street rat.
Does he have
With
like his,
slightly better
does he have his
well
hair
dressed.
like slicked back? Like
It was actually
know, what-
halfway in the process of combing the
what
slick back hair.
what was the punk look at this time? Was
I
it
have
Greasers?
no idea.
No, that was later.
Greasers was
Um,
later. That's 1950s-ish.
No, 1920s. They had like hats and raggedy clothes.
Yeah, that was like bowler hats with razor blades at the brim, that kind of thing.
But, he's
So,
surprisingly well dressed.
So
kind of got the
Alex from
air-
Clockwork Orange, okay.
Yeah, kind of.
surprisingly well dressed. Kind of got the look of somebody who's put themselves together pretty well, but didn't really quite know what they were doing.
So he has a top hat then.
So you're obviously here for
Top
the...
hats exist in 1920? When were they?
I think they existed before the 1920s.
I think
Yeah,
yeah,
they
I
were
think
more
they were
1800s,
around. Yeah,
but I think they were out.
yeah, because they were in the Wild West. So yeah.
But yeah, I'll take you down in the cellar and I'll show you the train set itself.
Oh sure. Sounds wonderful. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
I promise you he is not a murderer.
I'm well aware of that.
You find no skeletons in the cellar.
Yep. So head down there, take a look at the train there.
You find a table with a big wooden board on it, about the size of that table there, with mock terrain on it. Featureless, there's no trees or bushes, but there are hills and inclines, and the track is a rough figure eight. There's also a little electric train engine and 2 passenger cars behind it. Little models
Of course, there's only the 3 cars that disappeared.
Yes. And there are the controls right on the edge of the table with wires connecting to it.
Plugged in.
Yeah. And if not, you can plug it in for you.
Is anyone going to stop me from turning it on?
It's like, oh yay, another train. Is there
I'm just
anything
writing
valuable
stuff down.
within pickpocketing
Alright.
range?
Like if you don't do it, I'm going to.
I'm going to turn it on.
I get the
Although at
sudden-
this point, Agnes is expecting something bad to happen. So
my character gets the sudden urge to check his firearm to make sure everything's working
gonna
correctly.
shoot the ghost train. I was more ready and dodge to just whatever is perpendicular to just shove him out of the way.
Okay. So you turn the train on, turn up the dial, there's a little sparking of electronics, and it comes to life. Goes across the figure eight once. Yeah, it's ticking away at normal speed. Goes around twice. So what are you guys doing?
Tom's looking around to see if there's anything
It goes
about
around a
pocket
third time.
size that's valuable. Looking. Any
Okay.
of
Make a
the-
spot hit. Goes around a 4th time.
gonna switch it off and
Oh,
actually
what?
pick up the little train engine, like off the track, and examine it.
All right.
I think that's the closest thing
I
to
rolled
a
a 1 on
crit.
my spot hit.
Hot one, yeah.
You find $20 under a box in the back.
Sick. Good.
You actually find that there's been runes and symbols carved in the underside of the train cars.
Cool.
And you feel a slight hum.
Did I make an occult check? Try and
Absolutely.
show it to my friend, see if we can figure out what the hell that might be. I don't.
I fell too. I don't even need to see the other die.
Do any of you have any points in Mythos?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Where would that be?
I'll set the like the train down so I can see the runes, and I'll just like start
only
trying
one
to
I
copy
get
them
zero.
out, so I can look them up later. I'm sure this won't go badly for me.
Oh, not at all.
What are you doing?
Copying the magic runes on the train.
Make a note that you have copy of said runes.
Sure.
It's been so long since I actually played a tabletop game. I feel like I've forgotten how. Like, I don't know.
Well, you're also dealing with a game that's very different than, say, D&D.
True, but
There's less murder of other things and more murder of you.
Yeah. And when things start getting bad, they're going to get bad.
Got a question for you.
I know Tom
Is
did.
00
That's
zero
okay.
or 100?
I've come to.
00 is 100. 1 is the lowest you can get.
Okay.
It's not like Eclipse Phase. 00 is horribly bad in this game.
That is my only complaint about percentile systems, is that there's always that debate about whether 00 is high or low.
Yeah. Well,
Well, most guys don't
it's
have
actually just Eclipse Phase, I think, that runs it low, and they do it to balance the way they do crits, so that they're spaced even, and that's the only reason. Also, the rest of you can make occult checks as I show you the train runes.
Show me too.
Yeah, sure. I'll show them to Arthur too. I'm like, hey, look, there's like weird symbols and stuff carved on here.
While she's showing
This
me
looks
the
like
runes,
graffiti to me.
yeah, while she's showing me the runes, I'm
He's not going to roll occult at base. He doesn't have a mythos skill.
What is a cult at base?
5%.
Yes.
Nope. Alright.
Why would somebody...
I would love it if he succeeded. It was like, is that the yellow sign?
How dare people vandalize it? Sure, it's in poor taste, but you have no right to damage a train set like this.
It used to belong to Randolph and Albert Alexis, right? Or did Albert ever actually own it? Or was it
The
just
son?
Randolph? I don't think the son ever owned it.
No, it was the property of the son.
No, it was from Randolph Alexis' estate. That was the father. Albert was the son. I mean, it's possible that he was just young enough that they had the same estate.
Sorry, this is actually something I need confirmed.
Okay. This is where we find out the names were reversed. Like, balls, I gotta change all my notes.
I have to go back and re-listen to the first two and write notes down.
Did either of you get your occult?
No.
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 No, I was going to say
Hobo
that
sign?
while she was showing
Are any
Tom
of these
the-
symbols the same or similar to hobo signs?
Oddly enough, they're all the same as hobo signs. Stat check. All hobos are secretly wizards.
I'm willing to roll a stat check if this actually becomes a thing.
That makes so much sense.
Butters remembers something for a second and goes, wait, sorry. Alexis actually had this set commissioned.
Albert?
The son, yeah.
Yeah. Alexis is the last name.
Yeah, sorry. It must have been to commemorate his lost father. Never heard him mention about these graffiti carvings on them.
You never
God,
noticed
he loved
before? How long have you
trains.
had the set?
Well, sure, I looked at the outside of the wheels as a connection to the track, but I have no reason to lift it up. I'd scuff the paint.
Wonder how many
Oh, he's
more
probably
your trains
annoyed
got
at me when I
graffiti
first
on
picked it
the
up. He's like, what the hell are you doing? Put it back, you dick. I'm just going to say, do you think he carved this on there himself, or do you think it was part of the commission?
There were some times where he talked about...
Like, if I look at the lettering, does it look like someone just scratched it in with a nail, or has it been, like, professionally engraved? Okay.
So is the train still going round and round in the...
No, I turned it off and picked it up.
Oh, okay.
It was commissioned by the son, who owned it, and then the son disappears, and then it was owned by a different man who was the one who most recently disappeared.
Yeah, because I noticed in the description of the son's disappearance, there was smoke damage in his house, but no actual sign of fire. Just like how Henry's house had smoke, but no fire.
Yeah.
And I think it's just smoke from the ghost train. But
Coincidences, those don't exist.
not a Cthulhu, they don't.
We're investigators. We don't believe in coincidence. Haven't you seen The Dark Knight Rises?
I have not, actually, being as I live in 1920. Did you get possessed by a Yithian again? Guy's a dick. Keeps popping in and out of everybody. I want to... A Yithian is a time-traveling mind stealer. They live somewhere way in the ancient past, and they can travel to other times by switching brains with someone from that time, like mentally. And then they masquerade as that person for a while to learn things, and then they switch back. Well, your brain is in Yithian land. They will take you on lovely tours of their library, and you will probably go insane.
And this Yithian kept saying something like 420 YOLO blaze it.
YOLO swag money blaze it, bro. When he came back, he took a while of decontamination before he stopped talking like that.
He must have been Dutch.
Yeah.
No, like he must have gone to somewhere where there was some horrible mind-twisting Cthulhian spell enrapturing the populace. Anyway, I'll set his little train back down again.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Butters. You've been of great help.
Oh, and if you're interested in buying it, like, I don't know, $2?
Well, I'm taking a trip soon, actually, on the Orient Express, in fact.
Oh, really?
Yep, doing an article about it. That's why I kind of wanted to talk to you about some stuff like that.
Oh, I could go on for hours about that.
Well, unfortunately, my train ride leaves in less than an hour.
Oh, what a shame. You have to stop by some...
Is this a fast talk roll?
This is a
Get out of here in under an hour.
As he bodily grabs you and goes, "The Orient Express! Oh my god!"
I will roll this.
Like, actually, I got a ticket for the Orient Express too. Guess I gotta go. Sorry.
Nope.
Roll melee to beat him with your purse.
Am I gonna hit him with a purse?
I tap him on the shoulder.
Sorry. It's a very famous train. I actually have not been on it. Anyway, currently you have two more options. You can either try to continue the investigation with the Alexis and the train, or you can begin your journey to deal with the SEDEF card simulacrum.
Two choices. I scoff at your two choices. I got 3 more pages here, buddy.
Oh, shit.
We still haven't gone to the Turkish embassy.
God damn it, the DM is being railroaded. This is Bizarro World. I make a sand check.
You make that shed check, buddy.
Actually, this reminds me of Garcia Garrett, actually.
In deference to you, I will cross one thing off the list because I think it's unlikely anyway.
It turns out to be the key to the whole thing.
Oh,
Probably.
how little you all know.
I just gotta figure out why Tom's gonna stick with you guys.
He's wealthy as fuck. You tag along because you know he's got pockets to pick. This guy drips, well, money and sewage.
Well, oozes, but seeps, if you will.
You see, for some strange
That
reason,
$20 I found actually fell out of his pocket. It looks like a trail of $20.
His pocket has a hole in it. He's just been trailing that money Dr. Smith gave him. The whole game, a legion of urchins is following him now. What are you kids doing? Nothing, Gov.
Got a nickel for somebody who's hungry.
Anyway, I would investigate more about the Alexis family, but that would involve going to the police station again. I don't think we want to go there again for a while.
Yeah.
That's closed off a few avenues of investigation there, buddy. I think it's time to take a trip to the Turkish embassy.
I feel like my character's
I
got a little
thought
bit
it
of
would have
experience
worked.
in the police department.
Walk up to the embassy through the doors, and there's a gentleman behind the reception counter. He's got a big those little triangular signs that has a name on it, and it's an M. Coprolu. And he's busy filing paperwork. He looks up and then looks back down at his paperwork.
I will walk up to the desk. See, he's working on something.
Oh,
No,
I help you?
Before I even say anything, as I walk up to the desk, is he like writing on something that I could read upside down? Being that I'm a nosy
Paperwork.
reporter.
Written in Turkish.
Quick look. I think reporters automatically see checks to read paperwork upside down on other people's desks.
Yes, it's in Turkish, but you can tell that is the most boring paperwork in the world.
It's the soul-crushing tedium of his pen moving across it in such languid, slow pace.
He's actually making several initials over and over again in certain little boxes.
He's just like drawing a little square and putting a happy face in it, and then scribbling it out with anger as he reads.
Hey, that
Hello
square
there.
was pretty hip.
Hello there.
Can I help you?
Hi there, Agnes Gertrude Mallory of the Boston Globe. I'm doing a report on the 3 men found dead in the hotel.
You and every other
I understand
reporter.
you're probably tired of hearing the questions, but, well, it's important for people to know about if any sort of danger that might be posed, and especially, it's fast talk here, especially for the other Turkish citizens of the community who might fear that they might be targeted next. Fast talk?
Yeah, make that roll.
41 out of 73. Yes.
All right.
Play the anti-racism card. It's some sort of weird inverse racism card.
I will give you 5 minutes. What questions do you have?
Most generous. I was curious about where the 3 men came from originally. Apparently their travel documentation was all jumbled up.
Yeah.
I was wondering if this might be a regional targeting thing or some sort of...
We don't know today's
Cabal.
result. I will say, though, that those documents, those passports, were not issued from this embassy.
Okay.
Those are obviously fakes, forgeries, even if they are of good quality.
For some bizarre reason, they're actually
If I've
better
got-
quality.
If I've got underworld contacts, which according to the book I do, can I roll some kind of check to see if I know who the best forgers are in town?
What kind of skills do you have?
Mostly violent ones.
Do you have anything that would indicate that kind of knowledge? Actually, you know what?
Other than just
You have a
being
no roll.
involved with the... I have a no roll?
Yeah,
Yes.
See basic stats. You know, I'm going to say roll your no.
Knowledge or idea?
I'm going to say no
Okay.
under the case because of her profession.
The knowledge.
84. That is way over. Nah, I got nothing.
You never
I
dealt
deal
with
with a
anybody who
different type.
dealt with passports.
It's a different
You never
type of
wanted to
criminal.
leave town? You dealt with
Why would
people
I?
who
Lots of
traded in
people
hall
around.
passes mostly.
I just need like 1920s Fillmore.
Well, there is a curious detail about the passports. They're all forgeries, but they all stole photos and the identity of the same man, Mr.
Mr. Mecrat?
Yes.
I was curious about that, because isn't Mr. Mecrat like 80 years old or something?
Well, yes, that's the confusing bit. It's strange for them to make forgeries that are accurate and yet wrong at the same time. I mean, if I was going to make forgeries, I would not make an error like that.
Yep. Now, when he said if I was going to make forgeries, it was like, if I was going to make forgeries, which I totally don't. Maybe
$100 and you're all now Turkish citizens.
Welcome to the great nation of Turkey. Here you go. That'll be $500.
Players that can afford it.
Oh, and keep an eye out for Russia. Oh, and Germany.
Germany. Everyone really can think of it.
Yeah, that whole Treaty of Versailles thing, it doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm sure it's going to go over fabulously.
Anyway. I was curious about so you say the passports were forgeries. Were the travel documentation in there? Was that also all doctored up, or were they using them to travel to these places?
They would have had to, although I've heard that the Orient Express is very lax when it comes to checking passports and stuff.
Out of character? Oh, thank God, eh?
There's a lot of treaties and laws that allow the train to pass borders with very little turbulence
It's
politically.
alright. I got a pretty high sneak and hide.
You could probably fit into like one of these guys' luggage boxes.
Yeah, we don't actually expect you to come along at all. You just show up.
You're like short round.
They did not ask for you to tag along.
Well, he's trailing money out of his pocket. You don't just let that go away.
Wait, what?
It's like, wait, what? Oh man!
God, wait till you start carrying around occult artifacts.
Subtle knife, that's gone. Where's that Necronomicon I had?
Right? He's quietly
Swear I
rolling
had it.
pickpocket checks and slowly get older.
Yet, for some reason, when I counted, I have more than what I put in there.
Make a sand check.
98.
One sand, lose it.
But I rolled over, so...
You want to roll under.
Oh, right.
It's like Eclipse Phase. You want to roll under your skill.
Okay.
Otherwise, having a high skill makes you fail more.
I like to think that the reason why Tom's sanity is so low is that he's accidentally stolen a whole bunch of stupid occult
He's a
stuff in the
scarred
past.
youth.
Does he start with a Cthulhu Mythos score of like 20? Because he keeps stealing books. Oh man, another book about horrible unnamed cults.
That's why his
This shit
education's so
again.
low.
I already
because
have nightmares.
He just eventually realized books make bad things happen.
Like, this
so
is
he
worse
stopped
than that
reading.
And
time I was a
another
security guard
copy
at
of the Book of
Freddy's.
Avon. This one looks newer, at least.
Yeah.
Hanging out in the wrong neighborhood.
Anyway, would it be possible to get a copy of the travel records from the different passports? Would you have access to something like that? Come on. Super important.
Oh yeah, I think I could find something here. The record keeping is something bad, but give me a second, okay. Looks like one came from Milan, the other came from Sofia, and the other came from Trieste.
Yep. Places where the fragments of statue are.
Excellent. Very exciting. You're like, wow, this is more boring than the trade place.
You're in an embassy.
Yeah. I feel like you should be like,
It's not the PNE,
oh,
unless it's the embassy for Funland or the Candy Kingdom.
What were the three you said?
Milan, Trieste, and Sofia. Sofia is the capital of Bulgaria.
Yep. There was supposed to be a piece buried there. Yay. So we know they were probably hunting for these things. So the remaining ones, there's another one. There's one in Paris, possibly.
If you
One in
wish, you can
Venice.
see the original list.
I copied everything in there out. Including the thing that's not in there. That's the mosque where the statue is from is called the Shut Mosque.
Oh, yes.
He said as mild chastisement.
From one DM to another.
Fuck you.
I will metagame the fuck out of your 13th age game. Congratulations.
You already knew that.
Yeah, but at least I'm fun while I do it.
In what way is Agnes not fun? By the way, do I have to make a sand check at some point for what I've worked out? Ghost train, and that the statue is apparently real and Turkish men are hunting it? I should probably make a sand check at some point for this.
You are free to make a sand check if you feel you are freaked out about what you're piecing together.
If you what?
If you feel your character is freaked out about what you are piecing together.
Oh, no. We've established Agnes gives no fucks.
You basically saw the early stages of a lich and went, eh?
Yep. Oh yeah, the wizard guy. Yeah, he's kind of a jerk.
I mean, yeah, it was horrifying and everything, but I blew that stuff up.
That knife is still sealed in.
I actually messed up on one of his spells. He had so much more armor.
Yeah.
Like, you would have still dropped him, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wait, do you still have that knife?
Hid it in my hat.
Oh, okay.
It just hasn't come up yet.
I left the statue of the shovel at the house. I've been using it in my yard.
It's up on the mantle.
That was a mistake. You should be carrying the shovel with you, clearly.
The Wizard Bane.
I've done my to-do list. You'll be happy to know. Or at least the amount of it that I can do while I'm still in London. Alright. What time are we at anyway?
7:05.
Nice. We'll actually get on the train.
Don't you think we should make one more stop at the police station?
I kind of feel like we burned our chance there. I think going back would be a bad idea. Like, there is
wait for
stuff I
shift
want to still
change.
do there, but yeah.
Just
Wait
wait
for
for
the
a shift change.
He's gonna have told, like, the chief is gonna have told the next guy. There was a guy in here.
Yeah,
trying
they had
to
a coffee
bribe the
break and
guy.
they all laughed about it. Damn Americans.
Trying to bribe us with the Chicago PD.
Well, we'll just not bring the bum with us.
Yep. Oh, actually, the Turkish embassy guy, can I go with psychology to see if he might be in on this? When he said, like, I don't know anything about forges. 30 success.
Okay. You can tell this man is stressed with dealing with reporters and stuff. He has been constantly berated with questions that are pointedly suggesting that the embassy is corrupt.
Oh, yeah.
And whether or not that's the case, he is at his wit's end.
I will thank him for his time and tell him he has been very helpful, and I'm glad that there are still honest men in politics.
Thank you.
Yep. I made a friend, maybe.
You see a little smile creep onto his face.
Is there like an ashtray or something here? Does he smoke? Can I offer some smokes?
Everyone smokes this time.
That's true. Yeah. Would you like some smokes?
Oh, sure.
There you go.
Lights up on his job.
Yep. It's the 1920s, no one cares.
Yeah.
Every building is like a plume fog in it.
Even I wrote down in my inventory a pipe and...
Yep. In 1920s, if your inventory does not list smokes, you are lying. They're for my asthma.
Let's Metal Gear Solid this. Everybody has a pack of cigarettes.
Yep.
Not
Just
me, I
one.
just have some
You are
powdered
free to
tobacco.
steal their cigarettes.
No!
I'm just surprised there's still an ashtray on the table, because I imagine it would have been like a nice crystal ashtray. Just like,
Oh, I don't use cigarettes at all. I just
No,
use
it looks
powdered
crystal.
tobacco.
You steal it, and it's just cheap glass.
Alright. I think we may be finally ready to get on a train.
All right.
I must ask, are you annoyed about the amount of time we've been sticking around here?
It has taught me a lot about running Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Investigation
Investigation is important.
There are things I cannot mention at the table with the way this campaign runs.
I suspect that mech head guy's in on it. I don't really have anything to prove that yet.
Anyway, so are you all heading to Perry?
Well, we're getting on a train, certainly. Get on the train, open my bag, there's a small child in it. Again with this.
Some change?
Every time. It was like that when I got on the ship here, too. I got to open my bag and there was like 12 orphans. They just hopped out of it like a clown car. Fled off into the streets.
It's even worse because I hear your voice and I think Dr. Girlfriend.
I mean, it's even worse. Oh, it's even worse. This is an entirely different character, dear. This is Gladys. That gesture must be made when you're talking in the Gladys voice. Smoke through hole in deck.
Anyway, the Orient Express does not actually begin in England. You actually have to move over the water, past Dover, and into Paris itself. But there are train and boat ways that will take you there. From London to Paris, it's like $6 for first-class tickets. It's easily affordable for all of you, especially with you two having your job covering it.
Yeah. Scamming the editor.
We're both scamming the same editor, Cave Johnson.
Cave Jonah
No.
Jameson.
Yes.
That's his name now.
The boat train will take you as far as Calais.
Sorry, when you said boat train, like as like the two one after the other, I thought of like a train that just drives into the water, floats across, and goes on the other side.
No, they're actually specifically designed boats where trains will drive onto them.
Oh yeah, they have rails on them. The train like drives up onto them, and then they go in and they connect to another track.
It goes at a leisurely pace over the English countryside, through Kent, across Romney marshes, hills, small forests. It reaches Dover, and the passengers get into a ferry, and after about an hour and a half, it'll take you to France. It's a very short ride, actually. I've actually been on this. Normally it's known for violent weather, but you caught it in just a good time where weather's actually pretty smooth. Clear sailing. Sign of good things to come.
It's a good thing we spent a week dicking around. Otherwise, the weather would have been miserable.
Yeah, there's like 4 pages here about storm, lightning, thunder, shipwreck.
Something about a shaga.
Yes. From the deep.
Apparently, if you take the earlier train, it's just infested with deep ones. I don't know what that's about. Weird.
Once at Calais, on the French side of the channel, you board a train which is not the Express itself, but one which includes cars which will link with the main body of the Simplon Orient Express. As Orient Express passengers, you will ride in such a car, and then for a trip that takes the rest of the day, your train reaches Paris. Cool. And you see the Eiffel Tower off in the distance.
The way the Orient Express works is it's basically like a regular train service. You buy a train ticket from this city to this city kind of thing.
It's just there's some notes here about way cars kind of hook up.
So we can spend some time taking you around to Paris.
Oh, absolutely.
Good,
You know,
good.
the Bibliothèque Nationale.
Yep.
You have scrolls to find.
Yes, John.
There's actually one other thing that we need to do in Paris, which is find the origin of the telegrams that lured those that got the free Turks to Paris. And also talk to the library guy.
Oh yeah, the Paris National Library is important. I don't remember why, but I wrote that down. La Nationale Bibliothèque, Paris. Does anyone speak French?
No.
Oui. Yeah.
He is French.
Oh, thank.
I'm Belgian.
This is going to be like the draconic issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I figure I'd better speak at least one European language.
Good proof.
Yeah.
So you somehow snuck along and have been following them.
I think you just stole someone's, like, as they're getting on the train, just stole someone's ticket.
Did you steal a Turkish passport off that guy's desk?
We retroactively ended up yes.
Right Turkish passport in your inventory.
Yeah, just so a reminder, whenever I'm speaking English, I speak in a very posh accent like this, darling. And whenever I'm speaking French, I speak
Bad French
In an
accent.
equally stereotypical accent.
yes, a very stereotypical accent. Yes, oui.
Like, I feel like Tom doesn't talk, but I just kind of like has like
What?
perpetual in his face.
Well, you won't go.
He says resting bitch
I'll
face.
box your ears in. Did you say resting bitch face?
I love that term so much.
My friend Lyle just started a band with that name.
Resting bitch face.
I went to one of their shows at the Railway. It's downtown. It was basically all improvised stuff.
I'm gonna kind of sneak that anytime anyone gets suspicious about my passport, I can just like I get it done.
Hey, next time these guys get in trouble, you might want to try to help them, because then you can merge into the group that way.
Yes.
You're not just a ghostly tag-along.
They're just kind of bored. These guys look kind of interesting.
Well, this guy looks rich. Well, unwashed, but rich.
How old is your character actually?
I don't know. I kind of figured like 16 or something.
Yeah, because in 1920, 16 was basically an adult.
Exactly.
And in the 1920s, when you were on a train, there weren't iPods and shit, so it wasn't weird to talk to someone sitting next to you on the bus. That was actually normal.
Yeah, people actually had social skills.
Yeah, which
It's more
they
like you're on a train for like 6 hours. You're gonna talk to the guy you're sitting next to, and you're probably gonna make friends with him.
Yeah. Actually, I did see a very funny picture where guys, you know, all these kids are just sitting on the train and they're just not talking to anybody. They're just face deep into their literary devices. And then it shows a big picture of a 1920s train, everyone reading the newspaper.
Yeah. But eventually you run out of newspaper to continue pretending to read.
Yeah.
I read it 4 times. I still don't want to talk to any of you guys. The guy next to me smells like a public toilet. The other guy just speaks French all the time. When I talk to this kid,
Like, he's not even using proper grammar.
he's
just
16
random
years
French
old.
words.
His face is covered in scars. He looks like he had an interesting life.
Really, he's dressed really like pretty well. But
Tell him about when you were in Nam.
Just like Githia, the guy. And that guy.
No matter how well he dresses, he just still does like.
So we got 3 primary things to do in Paris. Investigate the origin of the telegrams, learn about the Snevkar scrolls and statue at the National Library, and there's a guy named Count Benelique here who might have a piece of the statue. So, to the library,
Yes.
I suggest. Start there.
I'm assuming we're using library use again?
Probably.
You can blend into the crowd. It's a crowded city.
Do I have to roll for it?
Are you rolling trying to hide from these clowns?
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Roll spot hidden.
I rolled 25. They just need to beat me, but
Nope. I'd say that's a no.
None of you notice you're being tailed
Cool.
by a kid with scars.
And possibly others.
Yeah.
Hey, Amber Rose, roll spot hidden. See if you're the only one following us.
failed that massively.
98. Yeah, we're getting followed. If you have any pride as a GM, that round of glorious failure should make you just have someone follow us.
If only you knew. Anyway, welcome to Bibliothèque Nationale.
Cool.
This is currently the greatest library in the world, both in size, scale, and the amount of resource material it has. It is open to the public from 9 a.m. to 4 or 6 p.m., depending on what day of the week it is.
You know it's a Cthulhu macho when they mention the hours of operation of the library.
It was enlarged during the French Revolution,
Which one?
when the
The big one.
Do you have some kind of history skill?
Literature history.
I do.
I wanted to give him a check for that.
36 out of 49. I pass.
The recent one, the one they're still complaining about.
Okay. Does that count as a tick or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I aid someone's, at least try to aid someone's library use or navigate, since the library's so freaking big?
Actually, what you one second. What you do know from that check is that the reason why this library is so large is because during the Revolution, all of the records and books of the local convents and monasteries were forcibly seized and now stored here.
Sounds about right.
They stole from all the libraries.
That's how most great libraries were established.
You have to fill out a form if you want to take out specific books. There's over 10,000 reference volumes available at hand. No books are handed out in the hour before closing. There are amazing domes when you're looking up at the ceiling.
Given that my history check actually yielded information, does it get a tick?
You know what, I'm going to say give it to him.
Because, I mean, there's not really anything else you use history for. Alright. We got some stuff to look up in this here library. Stepcar scrolls. Also, I'm going to try and look for the skinless one references again.
Should we roll separately for each of those things?
If it matters, I succeed in my navigate check. I succeed in navigate the library.
No.
Sorry, my die fell between your feet.
I succeed on both checks, and I rolled really well on the skinless one check.
Okay.
I'm just gonna roll to see if I get a check. Nope.
You actually find
No.
reference to the skinless one in an old occult
You're going back in the
text.
bag to learn how to roll better.
Specifically with the name. Now, okay, if out of game, if I mess this up, I will find the actual name.
Okay?
You find the name Yog Sothoth.
Okay.
That seems to be the name of the skinless one.
I don't know, I've always pronounced it as Yog Sloggett.
Yogg-Sothoth.
And there has been several cults to this deity, or demon, as some people refer to it as, all of which venerate either the removing of human flesh, the process of turning the newly skinned flesh into leather, and the different uses of which to use that leather. It was their cults that actually first began binding books in human leather. And that process was passed down to several other cults.
Is that all cults of Yogg-Sothoth, or just skinless one cults?
Do I need to roll a sand check because my character?
Specifically the skinless one cult.
Because my character now realizes what that familiar thing, that book I was holding at the first adventure was.
Make a sand check.
07. I'm.
Oh, you pass.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, kind of nifty.
Yeah. Wait, is that a normal reaction?
So, is this book made from human skin?
The current book you're reading? No.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna do something dumb and try and look up more about Yogg-Sothoth. This won't go badly.
Good idea.
Do I find a really old book in the restricted section of the library?
You actually don't have access to the restricted section.
Okay. I'm going to try and ask for access.
Okay.
I'm going to tell the librarian that I'm looking for something called Yogg-Sothoth. Looking for any references to that.
You find a man, a scholar by the name of Remy Vengium. An eyebrow rises when he hears the name. Sorry, what was the name again?
Look at my notes. Yog-Sothoth? Apparently some sort of cult worships him? Some sort of deity figure?
I may have something along that in the...
Psychology?
Yeah, make the roll.
Yep, 32 out of 60. Does he know a suspicious amount about Yog-Sothoth?
He is obviously suspicious of you, and you can tell from the way he's talking that he's looking for the wheels greased a bit.
I got this.
We've had quite a few people recently asking for such a volume. The problem is that all the text...
What sorts is he?
French.
You see, there was some killings that took place in London. A man was skinned alive. Apparently, there's a cult of this figure that venerates flaying people. We were trying to look into what they might be up to and see if it actually is a link to this here cult and put a stop to that there nonsense. I mean, you don't want people being skinned alive, do you?
Argue with that. Don't let me see the book. You're in favor of human skinning. Is this persuade?
I'm just trying to think of how he's going to say this.
Okay.
There may be some material you are looking for that is in fact here. Unfortunately, it is all in French.
Fortunately, my associate here speaks French fluently.
And while reading, you must be monitored by a member of the staff, because these are very old materials.
Damn it.
You will have to wear gloves. You will have to remain in the room where the book is stored while reading.
Yep.
Flash photography is forbidden. Any source of fire, smoking, flames, all forbidden.
Ink pens are also forbidden. I know this because I've actually looked at like manuscripts university. They basically like take everything you have off of you. Nail polish? Nope. Pen? Nope. Can I bring my pencil? No. Not allowed to bring anything. You can bring gloves and underwear. If it were up to me, you wouldn't get the underwear.
Would they let you bring like a computer in to actually copy it down?
They might let you bring a computer in, but they wouldn't let you put it on the same desk as it in case it sparks.
Yeah.
Like they're
Like-
really serious about it.
Like a phone.
Phone they take away.
Yeah.
Phones have flashes.
Ah.
They don't want you to be a dick and go, I'm gonna take a pic. No, you bastard! Stop bleaching the ink. Yeah. Basically, if you want to bring your writing implement in, you have to have someone read stuff with you, and you sit at a different table with a pen.
Alrighty. So I guess I'm doing the reading, and you get the pen.
Yep.
Hey, you're the note taker in this.
Yep.
I figured if you guys didn't get in, I was going to try and break in. Oh, he wouldn't be able to find anything once he got in.
While they're
Like,
doing
just
this,
shy of illiterate.
I'm going to take a break outside of the library, have a nice ham sandwich.
Are you, in fact, a hobo on a ham sandwich?
Huh?
Why?
Why is it not a baguette? Or a croissant?
There's an expression, like old expressions like on it, like white and rice, stuff like that. One of them is like a hobo on a ham sandwich.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. All I heard was ham sandwich. Okay. Now, with the kind of requests I get for such source material, is there anything else you wish you researched? Any other books or subjects to look into?
Also, something called the Sedevkar Scrolls, or the Sedevkar Simulacrum. Something these cult boys might be looking for. Can't let cultists run around murdering people.
I think I can help you with that. Anything else?
Guys, think of it? Got any spell books already? No.
Idea roll.
Sure. Nope.
52, success. Not that I would actually be participating in this conversation.
Through that whole train trip, you heard them talking about, you heard them mention in passing somebody named Count Fenelic.
Count Fenelic?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why he'd be in a restricted section book.
His stuff isn't restricted, but there's a lot of controversy about it.
Really?
Do you know a man named Count Fenelic? What? Do you know a man named Count Fenelic?
Sorry, I'm trying to find a specific detail.
Yep.
If I wasn't studying for math for the past 4 days, I would have had this shit memorized. Well, yeah, he used to be a nobleman. Back in the 1700s. But it's going to take me some time to gather source material. You could all help with a library use roll.
Sure. Helping. I do not help. By 2 points, I do not help.
I help.
99. I accidentally find the book they're looking for and knock it behind
I don't
the
know if
table.
you've noticed this, but all these books appear to be in French.
So-
making it quite difficult for me.
So the French person gets it.
I'm currently outside, so...
No one made you stay outside.
No, I'm
You
outside
randomly decided
eating
to
a
be
ham
outside.
sandwich. Once I finish, I'm going to open my cooler, refrigerated by a very, very cold book.
Curse book.
You specifically find a number of court histories that refer to an unspecified scandal in the Queen's court on the eve of the Revolution, when a man of minor nobility was apparently involved in an indiscretion with the Queen. After a palace uproar, the fellow was executed without trial. The man was a German count named Fenalik.
I read this all out and try my best to translate for my unilingual compatriots.
I also speak Klingon. Damn yippies.
All right, Miss Roddenberry, shut up.
Roddenberry's my maiden name.
I just thought of something. It's like when he opens up his cooler, to his horror, all his liquor is gone, and it's replaced with just stacks and stacks of cash.
No.
Okay.
When was Fenelon mentioned before? I'm trying to remember.
Dr. Smith's dying words mentioned that he might have a piece of the statue. That it was sold to a Count Fenelon.
Unfortunately, researching just that took up the rest of the day. You'll have to find accommodations and then come back and continue research throughout the week.
Alrighty.
I'll find, see if I can find a hotel that's known for its security. I want to not get murdered in my bed, thank you very much. There's cultists out of skinning. I don't know what kind of role that would be.
Credit rating?
Maybe.
You can always try.
What else could it be?
Navigate?
Navigate, maybe. Operate heavy machinery, clearly. Actually, it would probably be a French role, wouldn't it?
Ah. I'll try. I'll do my best.
I'll try credit rating. Nope.
I fail.
Well, you're Belgian and they're Paris French, so Parisians have dialect issues.
Do you guys
Hobo
mention
sign.
when you're coming back to the library the next day?
Oh, yeah,
You
they're
don't
following
understand
us around
French hobo
We'll
sign.
come back tomorrow and research more about the following topics as we loudly discuss it in front of the library.
Gee, I hope no cultists are listening to us.
I just feel like if you knew you'd come back
I
the next day,
hope no cultists are listening to us. Keep your luger ready.
I hope they're not looking for the Sedevkar simulacrum and the scrolls.
Boy, I hope they don't follow us into that dark alley where they'll be framed against the entrance like a silhouette lined up for a luga round. I don't know why I started slipping into Australian there.
You find accommodation a block away. It's not the best and it's not the worst. It's some French name you can't quite make out. The Hotel Panopticon.
Oh, good. There's an awful lot of cameras in here.
And you were able to rest up for the night.
Is that a gorilla with a gun?
If you still have injuries, which I doubt you do, this would be the time where I would let you heal up. If you have any harmed sanity, which I don't think you do at all,
I lost one.
you recover that one sanity. It is now the next day. You have returned, and Remy has done some additional research, and he'll be asking for your help as well, again.
Awesome. More library use?
Yes.
Or is it just a strength roll to carry heavy books for him? Has he abandoned asking me to file things? Nope.
93.
Nope.
Library use, right?
Yep.
Yes.
The urchin in the library this time?
What was the
No.
library last time? Just watching.
Yeah.
Distance.
You're gonna offer to carry stuff? Alright.
Why would he volunteer to do work? This seems
So that he can pick things.
I've decided why he's there though, because he's made so much money from his pickpocketing and thievery, because it was $300,000 there, that it's just, it doesn't have the same thrill for him anymore. He's looking for something new to do.
I want to
Like,
fight
oh,
some cultists.
So these guys seem
Well, how much of their conversation have you been overhearing? How much have you three actually been discussing about your goals?
I got to roll this.
Nope, I don't see you again.
Oh, yeah.
I
Spot
don't
hit.
notice you followed me today either.
But I mean specifically,
Yes.
Do I have to roll
Stealth, yeah.
23?
I rolled a 13.
you notice a little kid in the library. It
Recognize
kind
the
of
kid?
seems like the kid who made him part of the Train Spotters Club.
He's cultist, he's following us. We'll have to kill him. I pull out my Luger.
This kid's small enough that I can just pick up from the back of the shirt and go, hey, look who I found.
Look what I caught.
Yes, pick up the kid with the 7.
I got me arrested.
Look at this, Sheila.
We caught us an interloper.
We're now Texans in Paris.
It's not Texas.
I was about to say that
Close
It's
enough.
Alabama.
when I was drafting character ideas to come down, the cattle farm character I had idea was basically they had a cattle farm that was kind of failing, but they found oil. So, you know, because that was like something that was a boom in that in the 1920s. So I figured his family just made all this money that he decided to take this grand European adventure and then got here and realized it was all European.
Did they move to Beverly Hills?
Yeah, that's what I was.
He would have already been like a cattle baron, but now he's like an oil baron. And so he kind of comes to Europe, he's like, oh, it's all these Europeans. And so he's, oh, you guys have
Man,
American
who'd have thought
accents.
Europe would be full of Europeans?
No, that's
If
why
I'd
he
known that, I wouldn't have come.
Hold on, so I figured like that's why he would join. He'd be like, oh, I'm American, and then just be like, what are you doing? Because he'd just be
Thank
like
God.
really jolly and
Thank God, people who speak English properly.
It's chowder.
Howdy. I'm assuming an Armagnac. Also a fun accent.
It's chowder. I'll kill you. I'll kill all of you.
It's
Especially
chowder.
you.
I'll kill you. I'll kill all of you.
Especially you, the jury.
Sorry.
Alright, so I believe all of us failed our library checks.
I think so.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Unless the interloper wants to roll.
yeah, like this is actually gonna happen. Oh wow, I actually succeeded.
Hey, tick library use.
Take library use.
Happens to find the right book.
You then.
You only
done
managed to
learned
find the
how
right
to
book
open a
because when I lifted you, you went to the right elevation to see it.
Wait, did you
Oh,
actually
young
try and
supply
lift
for
me?
you. There it is.
Okay, if he is actually going to try and lift him,
You
he's
find
going to get decked.
you find
Hooked to the balls.
a duplication of a diary of a member of the Queen's Court from the same era as the Fenelic.
Excellent, but if I we may need to resolve this.
Pretty sure you punch him in the crotch, he'll drop you.
Sorry, like yes, so we found the diary.
Does he hit him with the diary?
Oh,
It's a good thing Remy isn't looking.
so if I am, he's picked my character up. So at this point, my character will be.
That means you are grappled. You can now fight the grapple, which would
Does he need
be
to roll anything?
If he wanted to actually grab you, we'd have to roll, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just, I just figured that I would see you, and then I would sneak around, lift you up from the back of your shirt, and walk to the rest of the. Look who I found.
Yeah, that takes a grapple check if you actually want to do that.
okay.
He doesn't want to let
Your
you.
strength opposed to her strength. That's actually not going to be your roll. There's a table you will have to roll. What is your strength?
11.
So should I just roll this and see what happens? Or?
No. There's a table here I prefer to.
You can roll the
You
dice
were the
now.
one who initiated
What is your
player-player
strength?
combat.
Huh? What is my what?
Strength.
10.
And what is your strength?
11.
What did you just roll?
96.
There, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell 96 succeeds.
Yeah. You fail harsh.
That's
he-
why I suggested
You had to
rolling
roll under a
first.
40.
Yeah, that's why I suggested rolling first. Because if you roll like above a 90 or below a 10, you're gonna make
So
it.
he was just like, and just like, kind of like, and walks away. And I
Everyone in the
walk away.
library sees you try to grab a little kid.
Fortunately, that particular scandal hasn't hit the media in force yet.
Luckily, it's Paris. Nobody cares.
I just kind of sneaks away between
He's not a little kid,
aisles
right?
after
He's
the fine
16.
guy.
16, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
16.
He's not that
Yeah.
little.
Oh. If you were 16, I wouldn't have tried to pick you up.
Yeah.
You're too big.
Well, either way, nothing happened. He found the book.
Yeah,
It's not
think
what he
teenage
said.
punk.
So he found the library. Is the diary in French as well?
Because it is actually a copy of the diary itself, because the diary itself is too old, it has English notations.
But
Or
is it pocket size?
Oh no, you will be hearing no more of my ridiculous French accent.
The diary records the petty intrigues and affairs which plagued the court at that time, but it also relates an incident involving a Conte Fenelique in June 1789. Damaged by water, parts of the manuscript are now ineligible. This is what you can make out. The Conte was like a sun amongst us, shedding his light and making all rejoice in his pleasures. His feasts are said to be the most lavish and lascivious yet seen in this city. There's some blurred out. It was then that it became apparent that much evil was afoot, and the queen became angered. The king's men did raid the house, and much was destroyed, and the Conte was arrested. There's nothing else eligible on this page.
it says, what was the second part after the blurry bit? Just abruptly switches to it's from this guy's awesome to this guy's bastard.
Yeah, straight up evil.
Either he
But
is
it doesn't say anything
evil.
about it being sentenced to death or anything like that. It just says, it just stops talking about it.
And it says arrested.
Arrested.
Those endeavors take up the whole day. You can continue studying for a fourth or even fifth day if you wish.
Third, you got
Oh, yeah,
here and went to
sorry.
the library. Yeah.
Another library usomology.
I succeed.
No.
Okay. You actually take a side trip to the Bibliothèque de Arsenal, not far from the Place de la Bastille. The library takes its name from being housed in what remains of the ancient arsenal of Paris, built by Henry II. Here, you find records of a diary of one of the captain of the guards who led the assault on Fenelick's mansion in Posy, a suburb west of Paris. The officer, one Louis Marlon, seemed to have been shaken by the experience, and you can tell by his jagged handwriting. This is what his journal says. When we arrived, the feast was still in progress. Men and women were rotting like rabid dogs. We chased them out, arresting the ones who were not able to vouch for themselves. I sent Juliam and 5 others to capture the Comte. The Conte, it's French for count. While I entered the chambers beneath, I cannot bring myself to describe what I saw there, save that we had entered a cesspool and it was hell. God protect us. Many devices of torture lay in many chambers. One of my men found a strange Nuremberg virgin, which was locked, basically Iron Maiden. Fearing to find a fresh occupant, we smashed it open, but within we found only the stinking refuse of some poor wretch long dead. It was a dark day when noble vermin, such as Fenelick, did descend upon Posy. And if God does not punish him for his sins, then the king surely will. It was with a just heart that I did give the order to burn the house and those who remained within. Though the Conte did howl and scream as though his very soul was burning, we then took him to the place that would be his new home. There may he rot.
No mention of what that new place is.
No.
So a bunch of people were
Was this in-
arrested, and the people who weren't arrested got barricaded in the manor and set on fire.
Yes.
So that wasn't in the diary, that was in the other.
No. This was by a guard who led the assault. Finding that took up the whole day. You can do another day and keep looking to see if you can find more about this.
Should we spend another day?
Do you have to ask me that?
Let him finish taking notes. Jesus
Like,
Christ,
I'm gonna
guys.
roll in a second. I'm just writing shit down, man.
The word count of that notebook is going to exceed the campaign.
I know.
Written in? Not. I'm almost out of pages. Fortunately, I brought another book.
Heads up, this campaign is actually like 200 plus pages.
Yep.
It's a
Can I
long
just
ass
have that
campaign.
and just copy everything out?
No,
Just just circle it as I
it is,
discover it.
it is liberal with where they put spoilers.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next day, I'd like you all to make a library check, please.
Failed.
No.
Badly.
I'm doing pretty poorly with library
I
checks.
succeed again.
I haven't succeeded once.
Do you already have a library use check?
Yeah.
Okay. You find the journal of a Lucien Rigaud, a physician with the Queen.
Try rolling on a sneak if it's not a day.
This journal is actually in the Bibliothèque
Probably just
Nationale,
following us around at this point. I don't care.
and this is what it says.
Pretty good at staying outside.
2 nights later, the soldiers of the king went in force to the Conte's villa to halt his excesses.
Sorry, what is the new book? I just finished writing the old one.
This is a journal by a Lucien Rigaud, a physician to the queen. 2 nights later, the soldiers of the king went in force to the Conte's villa to halt his excesses. After they burned his mansion, they brought the Count before the king's deputy, who then ordered me present to deliver an opinion. Count Fenelick was screaming and writhing. It was easy to see that he was quite mad. As a nobleman and a madman, he could not be executed. So I suggested that a merciful king might place Fenelick in Sheraton. The king's deputy apparently decided upon this course and agreed that Fenelick be taken there. Later, the king expressed his approval, and the disposition was made permanent.
Sorry, where was he taken? What's it called?
Sheraton. It's a primitive madhouse. The last I learned of him was that he had been locked away in a cellar because he had attacked other patients. Through everything you've learned about the location of his villa in Jose and Fenelick's incarceration in Sheraton.
Are both of these in Paris?
Jose is a suburb on the outskirts of Paris. While Sheraton, it still exists to this day. The most famous for the late 20th century theater goers as the final hours of John. If you wish, you can now. You should have skill in note taking.
I'm a reporter. I do have a skill in note taking.
If you wish, you can make a library use roll to look up more about the asylum.
Finally. 7.
You discover the obituary of the asylum's director, and with dedications from friends and colleagues. The article is only a week old. This is what it says. Dr. Etienne Delplace.
Sorry, pause a sec. So the director who's dead, this wouldn't have been the director that
No,
was, because that was 130
Yeah, the asylum still exists.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's not, I was going to say, I thought you were saying the same guy, and I'm like, no, it's 130 years ago, that would not make sense.
Dr. Etienne Delplace. We mourn the loss of our esteemed director, Dr. Etienne Delplace, a man of the highest professional standards and a true pioneer in the field of neurology. His loss by tragic accident comes as a great blow. We at the hospital extend our heartfelt sympathies to his family, hoping that they overcome their grief in time. Dr. Delplace will be missed by the Sheraton community, Paris at large, the glorious nation of France, and all civilized men everywhere will mourn him.
Given that I'm a reporter, can I make some kind of check to do the classic read between the lines of an obituary as to whether this guy was actually loved or hated? Like when people in an obituary say, he was a tireless raconteur, that means horrible bore.
Roll psych.
Stuff like that. Yes, 47 out of 60.
Yeah, they were going through the motions.
They're what, sorry?
They were going through the motions.
But there's nothing in there to suggest that like people didn't like him, it's more like he was kind of a prick.
More like they just want to save face.
Yeah, yeah. It's like when someone tells you that in an obituary it says that he was convivial at all hours. It means he was a drunk. Like stuff like that. Yeah. Convivial means like always cheerful and happy, like you're always drunk all the time. Yeah, like if you read obituaries and you know this, like so many of them are like all backhanded insults.
Oh my god.
It's like when an obituary says who was known to police, or in an article like that, someone was known to police, and they're totally a criminal, but they haven't proved it yet.
If you wish, you can research the villa.
No. Nope.
Nope.
You don't find any info.
Alright, back to researching Yogg-Sothoth. And his many cults.
Considering the time, I will leave it at that. I will have more information for you on Yogg-Sothoth, as well as the Cult of the Skinless One. And then, next week, we will either check out Sheraton, the villa, or both.
Hopefully next week I'll know what the heck I'm doing with this character.
And now, everyone who has a skill check, roll to see if you gain skill points.
Oh, yeah.
And you all get one free skill check to pick.
I think my free ticket is psychoanalysis, which is the skill for restoring sanity.
Go for it.
That seems like a good choice.
And become important.
Oh, trust me, with the way things could have gone this session, some of you could have been dead.
Out of curiosity, how long do you have to let the train run before it gets you?
Actually, because you're past that point, I can tell you about it now. There is a random number that determines how many tracks the train must take to activate the ritual. I rolled an 8
Nice.
out of a D50.
I don't know what to take for my free roll.
When in doubt, pick dodge.
Although I swear, when you examine the train, I thought you knew the setting.
No, it's just like it's a train that I worked out was killing people, and it was when I was listening to the recording, and I remember that there's that whole speech by the doctor about hauntings.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, we know that a guy got killed by a train. Ghost train? That's the thing.
What actually happens when the ritual is complete, I will keep that to myself. But let's just say it would have been interesting. 3d6 plus 3 for your education.
Alright, 6. Okay, 9.
I think the bum might have a higher education than you.
Yeah,
The
I
assassin
do.
thing's really actually kind of... All you can do is beat shit up.
Comes
Can I
from a
say,
bad home. All he knows is
homeless
hurting.
teachers with a lot of time on their hands.
Okay.
Is that really low? Am I gonna, like, basically...
You have a damage bonus of plus 1d4 when using melee weapons now.
Hey, you actually have a damage bonus.
You're the only person in this whole party who has a damage bonus.
So I'm gonna be the bruiser
and
again?
you got it by 1 point. Now your sanity points. So basically, whenever
I
you're
feel like
making a
50 is
sanity
really,
check
really low.
against something messed up,
Mine's 70.
you have to roll under that. And then, if you lose sanity points, that total will go down.
I'm going insane so fast. I see it
Don't
now.
worry.
As a general rule of thumb in Cthulhu, if your starting sanity is under 50, things are going to go badly for you.
Shit.
It's your toe of the line.
I'm gonna need really good rolls.
Okay.
My dice hate me. They haven't come out of the drawer in a very, very
We're going
long
to determine
time.
your skill points.
Okay. I kind of like the idea of doing something gangstery just because it seems time period appropriate.
Hitman.
Let's put it this way. This dude's the only one with a gun.
Italian cigarette smuggler. Start the game with a Tommy gun. Come on. Name it Lucille. You know you want to.
You will not smuggle that shit onto a train.
Probably not a thing that's
Who's
gonna
smuggling? You're a gangster. Here's $100. Can I bring this on board? I guess. I make a very small amount of money. Do I want $100 or do I want to tell the guy with the Tommy gun he can't come on the train?
I might actually allow that. Considering how this session could go,
Bootlegger / thug. It seems like this might be in the right here. Sanity loss resulting from witnessing violence against humans are reduced to half of the roll loss.
So it sounds like you rolled the fighter of the
Except
group.
you start with a penalty to your sanity, which I don't think I can afford to take,
Nice.
quite honestly.
but hey, human violence doesn't mess you up.
Yeah, but
This
if I'm
guy
starting
saw
with a
as
sanity of like
much.
40,
Whoa, a skinned human body might not freak you out that much. I mean, there's this one guy in your
Didn't
crew.
freak him out. It was just like, that's weird.
I saw this shit in med school.
yeah, see, I'd be starting out
I,
at less than 40,
I
and
saw
I'm
the war
basically just
as a
gonna
child.
go batshit right off the bat.
Remember, I'm from Europe.
What do you mean as a child? It's 1920.
Oh.
World War I was like
A year ago.
Okay.
ago.
All right. So the point is, I've seen that.
Most of the rail line we're going to be following is currently undergoing shell repairs.
Yeah, they're still calling it the Great War
Right.
of yesterday.
Oddly enough, no. Before World War I was over, there were people who called it World War I. Specifically historians. Most people didn't.
The historians are like, yeah, no,
It was
we get
because
this.
historians basically went, this is probably not the only time this is going to happen.
Okay.
We should probably just get a head start on
I will
this.
buy that. That makes a lot of sense.
I'm playing a punk,
Nice.
which is basically all.
That gives
Gangster wannabe.
That's
I
all.
learned my stabbing on the streets. Please, sir, I want some more. If you don't give it to me, I'll shake you. I may be co-opting your character.
put points into jump and kick so that you can drop kick people.
Are you going to spec your character for dive kicks? I have a specialization in dive kick. It's my only combat attack.
Have you ever been on the Orient Express? Oh man, it is the most amazing thing. It
They
is
have a guy
luxury.
who wipes your butt for you.
Yes!
The problem was I had no idea what to tip him. I mean, how much do you tip that guy? More or less than a waiter?
A lot more.
Yeah, trade.
Because he can slip sandpaper instead of that silk cloth if he wants to.
I want to make a 13th age character whose unique thing is a yin-yin. That will explain any time I'm missing from this session. It switches back and whoever actual chump this body belongs to appears and starts freaking out again.
Oh god,
Just curls
why am I
into a
here?
ball and starts crying for a whole session. And then I switch back. And the character's like, what were you doing? You were like weeping and sobbing in a ball. Was I? Well, I'm better now. That's odd.
How much are third-class tickets?
A bunch. Even third class is kind of pricey. You don't get on it unless you have a reason to. It's like third class is at this day and age is about what you pay for an airplane ticket now. Like at this time, trains were the way to do long distance travel. They were usually a bit pricier because you had to pay for like food and stuff too.
But there's like inflation and stuff. I'm not entirely sure what a bunch means.
Well, the relative cost is the same in terms of like percentage of your income. Like inflation doesn't affect that.
It would be nicer to have a quantified number.
Anyway, on Call of Economics.
Yep. There's a game coming out called Red Markets, which is economic role-playing in zombie apocalypse.
How?
It's actually brilliant. It's like 5 years after the zombie apocalypse, so everyone's kind of used to it, but they need to hire people to like go into zombie-infested areas to like retrieve stuff or to disable things or fix stuff. There's also something called closure jobs, which is where someone's like, I don't really want my wife walking around as a zombie. Could you go shoot her for me? Because I don't want to do it myself. And you earn money. At the start of every session, you have to figure out your earnings and expenses. And if you're in the red for too long, you die.
Oh my god. I don't know if I want to play this or not, but there's a little part in my brain
Like,
going,
as far as I can tell, it seems pretty awesome. Because you do actually do like adventuring, but there's also this like side business you're trying to run.
That sounds kind of brilliant.
It was Caleb Stokes made the game because in every RPG he ever ran, no matter what the system, the players would eventually try to start a business. It was like, wait, we found a dragon whose head keeps growing back. I'm gonna tie it down and make dragon head steaks and open a restaurant chain. Okay. I want to open a forge. Fine. So he finally just said, fuck it. I'm making a game where you just have a business.
Can I help you?
Yes, Agnes Gertrude Mallory.
Has anybody done a scene yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh.
We haven't even gotten on the Orient Express yet.
They're basically in the prologue.
Yeah, we're taking our time with this investigating.
It's actually going to save their ass.
Probably.
It already has. Anyway, yes, ma'am?
Yeah, there's this painter guy who I'm sure is gonna. He says he's gonna, go straight to the top.
Don't tip them off though. There's still a decent chance we may be able to kill him before it's over. If we can swing by Germany on the way to solving this crisis, can we maybe kill Hitler?
So you take a detour from the campaign, go off the rails, literally and figuratively, Instead of saving the world, you go and kill a child Hitler.
Technically, these are both saving the world.
Well,
If we're near the Rhine Valley, I may allow it. If you can somehow convince me how you would have such knowledge.
Just coincidence. Accidentally
Well, I am a
kills
Yippee,
somebody.
well, yeah, it is saving. I wouldn't say.
Hang on, just slow down in the time machine. I'll try to clip Hitler from out the window.
No scope 360!
Ah, damn. I hit Goring.
All right, I'm going to shoot this bullet through the time vortex. Hopefully, I'll hit Hitler. Ah, crap! I hit JFK.
Oh, this could go badly. And then we were playing Fallout, the RPG.
Time travel never changes. Oh,
You
you
know,
guys
the
like
Cthulhu
jump
War.
scares. There's a computer game you guys gotta try called Five Nights at Freddy's. You know the animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese's?
God.
They come to life and try to eat people.
Yeah, and you're a
Wait,
security
they
guard.
don't actually do that?
And you're stuck in the security room, but you have limited power for lights and your door locks. And you can only watch the security cameras and or lock your door or turn lights on.
Why would you do anything but have your door locked?
Because it drains power like a boss.
Oh, exciting.
Like you only close your door when you know they're right there.
Oh, that's exciting.
And they'll mess with you. They have like randomized AIs.
My friends wanted me to help them with a YouTube video. It's the My Little Ponies. If they were really old, I got the role of Rarity.
Oh god.
Please tell me she's a cigarette hag. Oh, yes. Yay.
It isn't every day you have your 100th anniversary, dear.
Perhaps his children, the Watley family. They seem like stand-up chaps.
Who the hell is Watley?
Watley. Wilbur Watley.
No, I'm quoting Linkara review where there's a character named where that character appears, but Linkara has no idea who he is, so it just says, "Who the hell is Watley?"
Man, I haven't watched this stuff in ages.
Yeah, it was the old Silent Hill reviews, I think.
I love those games.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently he loves the games too, but the comics are apparently crap.
Oh yes, yes they were.
Does the train show up, stop, and then force you to get on it? That'd be kind of awesome.
Yes.
Or does it just run over you?
No.
Well, people all disappeared. They weren't just found here.
Well, yeah, but if a ghost train phase slams you through a wall, you're gonna disappear.
Basically, you go on a wild ride.
Do you mean Azathoth?
No.
Aww.
But let's just say the things that you encounter while on that wild ride have a chance of insta-killing you.
So they're proper Cthulhu monsters.
Yeah. Now I'm just imagining, like DM of the Ring, but for Call of Cthulhu.
I love that comic.
I pick up the train. Why? I pick it up. It's obviously a ritual. I'm not letting that shit continue.